This is the Australian National University Library, and this is what you need to know about evaluating information sources. With all the information out there, it can be really overwhelming working out which sources you should cite in your research. So how do you determine what is a quality source and what is, well, not? That's where the TRAP test comes in. Yes, TRAP. T-R-A-A-P. Think of it as a helpful acronym to take the stress out of choosing whether or not to cite a source in your research. You need to know whether or not it's a trap. It stands for 5 things to look at when assessing a source: timeliness, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. Timeliness is simple: the newness of the information, the date it was created, published, or last updated. Questions to think about around timeliness. When was it originally created? Is the information up to date, or has it since been refuted? Is it current enough for your topic? The next one is relevance. Sources that you cite should be relevant to your topic and pitched at an appropriate level. Questions to think about around relevance. Is it an in-depth explanation or a quick summary? Is the language appropriate to your level, not too basic or advanced? Is the information part of a more comprehensive source that might be more appropriate for your research? Then, authority. Essentially, who wrote and published the resource. Checking the credentials of the author and publisher give you a pretty good insight into the quality of a source. Questions to think about around authority. Who is the author, and are their qualifications relevant to the topic they're writing about? Has the author provided substantial evidence to back up their information? What about the URL? This can tell you a lot about an information source. .gov.au indicates it is from the Australian government, while .net is way harder to verify. The next A is accuracy. This is where you work out if the information in the resource is in fact legitimate. Questions to think about around accuracy. Can you verify the information by checking at least 2 other sources? Is there any evidence of peer review? Does the language seem unbiased and objective? Does the author acknowledge the limitations of their research? Which brings us to the final criteria: purpose. Think about why the resource was written in the first place. Looking beyond the source itself will give you a better understanding. Some questions to think about around purpose. Is the information written on behalf of a lobby group, corporation, political group, or religious order? Read the About Us section to find out more about the author, funding body, or publisher, and really think about why and how the resource was funded. If it's a website, does it have advertising? That can be a big red flag. Does the source use inflammatory language, images, or graphic styles that seem intended to persuade or inflame instead of inform? So if you think a source might be a trap, or if you just want to be certain you are quoting top quality resources, remember the TRAP test. Timeliness, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. Your lecturer will thank you. And if you still feel uncertain, it is probably best to find another source, or, better yet, come in and ask a librarian.